So this is a video I have been wanting to make for a very long time. We're just going to call this, I don't know, how to think like a rich person, quotes the millionaire mindset. And this is something that I still kind of struggle with this sometimes to this day. And we got this question on stream last night. Shout out if you were there. Thank you for attending. There's going to be many more streams in the future, but I got some really good questions that I'm actually wanting to lead with here today on just how I've thought since I was a kid, since my early teens, for as long as I can remember, how I'm going to continue to think going into my later years. I'm 26 now, but I'm going to think like this for the rest of my life. And I wanted to share the insights on how I've gotten to where I am, how I think the wealthy think, and that's it. So let's not waste any time. Let's just dive right in. My first point, I want to talk about self-belief. And this is a question I got, in my opinion, that self-belief will be the anchor to your success when things are going wrong. This was one of the biggest questions on stream last night, was asking, like, was your own self-belief always this high? Or was there ever believe that something could go wrong or that you couldn't do something? And I will say this, I say this to the day I die. It's like, that's the one thing with full confidence that has always been sky high. Like, you could have a gun to my head and I could tell you at some point in my life, I was going to be a millionaire. I don't know if it was going to be 20, 30, 40 years old, 45 years old. It doesn't matter, but I can guarantee you I will hit that number at some point, and maybe even 10 million and 100 million and et cetera, et cetera. And it was just, there's never been a time that I didn't think I couldn't do what I set out to do. There was 100% doubts in the projects I was working on, or how rough the journey was going to be, or if I would stay mentally sane in some cases, but never once did I think I wouldn't hit my end goal of like millionaire and freedom. And I think, like, you have to understand, guys, stuff in all aspects of your life will naturally hit the fan. Shit will naturally hit the fan. So your self-belief really does need to be high. And I'd say for those struggling with it, your self-talk is so important here. And I'd say my confidence really started to get better when I actually got good at something, specifically sales. I don't know, I naturally walked with a better stride in life when I found something that I could be really, really successful at and I could excel at in my life. And this was super important to, be more, probably because of how bad I was in school. I was a horrible student. So this like really solidified of my ability to be like, wow, no, like I don't suck. I can actually do this. Video games was something I was really good at. Some people it's like guitar, or some people it's teaching, or some people it's whatever, right? Find what you're good at, because this makes life a lot easier. And when I speak to, people struggling with, depression or anxiety or whatever, it's like, you got to find something that you can just sink all your time into and just become like a master at. And that will naturally make you feel a lot better and increase your self-belief over time. And this kind of adds on to my second last video, but you do have to have some delusion, some crazy stories in your own head that you'll tell yourself to be successful. And I know that sounds weird, but it's very, very true. It's exactly what worked for me long term. Was I'd say out loud the most craziest shit to myself, but it kind of became true. So I don't mean to get all woo-woo and spiritual on you, but I do believe in that higher, person or higher self. And I think as long as you're guiding yourself in the right direction, everything else kind of just figures itself out. So that's the first point. Point number two, I'd say ownership in all, like in terms of the wealthy, very, very wealthy people that I know, they take ownership in all parts of their lives. And I've heard this from a guy years ago that said, even if the problem isn't yours, even if it's not literally your fault, I'm still going to be dealing with this. Even if it's not my fault, I still need to find my way out of this problem. So I can either sit here, take accountability for that, and get out of this issue immediately, or I can salt and point the finger for the rest of my time. Which decision do you think I probably made? And when I hit that really changed my mind, because honestly, controversial take here, I'm really not the type of guy to just blatantly take responsibilities for things that are not 100% my fault. I really do think that sets you up very easily to be taken advantage of. And that's what's happened to me about a dozen times before I finally said, no, screw this, like enough is enough. But at the same time, I still find myself in issues that I need to get myself out of. Not to downplay it or speak badly on them, but it usually happens with like my employees for some reason. Like there's certain factors that they make mistakes. Who do those mistakes fall onto? Not them, for the most part. It falls onto me. When my customers see that, it's like, well, shit. I can either point the blame at them and be a douche, or I can take accountability, say, hey, this is the issue. This is how you're going to fix it next time. But at the end of the day, I'm the owner. I need to take some accountability here too. So it's both things, right? This is a game from stream, by the way. That was why there was a little bit of lag there. But that's what this is. And I don't know, man, just thinking of ownership, not the extreme ownership. I'm all for Jonko Willix or whatever his name is on his thinking. But at the same time, it can be like you're just going to set yourself up for non-success if you fully take it that road. So I like thinking this way. Number 3, this was another thought I had while a guy on stream. I don't know if you can call him a hater officially, but you need to think in terms of leverage, not labor. It was really funny. A guy came into my chat kind of heated last night while he was literally driving Uber and said word for word, "I'm driving Uber right now. Please give me free advice. Go." And I said respectfully, like, hey, this is not the place to ask a question like that. That is really not the nicest way to ask a question like that. I'd encourage you to try again. I think I said something along those lines, or I said maybe try to mirror what other people are asking questions. They're asking very respectfully. They're saying, hey, thank you so much for the free content. I just had a quick question. This guy was the exact opposite of that. And he didn't like it, and he immediately turned and said, "Do you realize, have you ever worked 80 hours a week? How many hours do you work in a week?" And I told him, about 20, like 15 to 20 right now. He's like, 15 to 20? And you talk about making millions of dollars? This is bullshit. You're totally faking. How do people not see this? And I appreciate you guys, the real ones over there, because a whole bunch of people started backing up. It's like, dude, this is the exact reason you're driving Uber. I said that. I was about to, and I think I really caught my tongue and said, like, that's not the best delivery. Let's be better about that. Let's not say that, term to him. But that was my thinking. It's like, dude, you are thinking so backwards here. You only have 24 hours in a day. You have 24 hours in a day. So does Bezos. So does Musk. So does Zuckerberg. What is the difference between them and you? They have leverage, right? They have labor. They have employees that they can offset things to. And I love thinking this way. It's like the hustle, grind, working 10, 12 hours a day culture. It's like I always see this in, typically realtors or people who just really want that hustle grind because it looks sexy on the outside, right? And it's like, cool, you work 12 hours a day? That's awesome. I had 5, 6 employees, 7 employees who worked 8 hours today. Do you realize that's hundreds, that's triple, quadruple the amount of output that you did by just one person? And when I explain that equation to people, because I recently started thinking this way, when I explain that equation to people, they're like, oh crap, like that's way more important to think that way. I've been thinking about this way because I used to be that hustle guy. I used to be thinking it was cool to post on Instagram about how hard you were working. It's so stupid. It is the dumbest, most backwards thing. And I've talked about this on stream too. You do need to have like a year or two of just straight grinding. But grinding for the reason that you eventually will be able to buy your time back. You'll be able to bring on employees, to bring on content and videos that you can make once and share a million times over that your employees can watch, that your customers can watch. Like it's not cool to work 12 hours a day. You can only get so far by doing that. You will not become a billionaire by working 20 hours a day for the rest of your time. You need leverage, right? So that's a point that I really want to drive home to anyone with more business experience. The last one, this is more general. Think in abundance, not scarcity. This goes back to my points of being frugal. I think being frugal is incredible in the beginning. I think it builds great discipline, great grit. It's just sometimes it's cool to see how, even I'll do this. It's like, how much money can I cut back on this month? Like, just watch how low my living expenses can get to. It's cool because that's true freedom. I've talked about this a million times over. But you do need to think more abundant. Very wealthy people, if they lose like freaking 10 grand on a bad employee, they don't care. It's kind of like a second point where you need to fail forward, get, bad things under your belt so you have more skin in the game and you can thicken your own skin. It's a really interesting way to think. And it's something that I'm trying to be more, aware of is just abundance. It's like the more money you put out into the world, the universe will naturally flow it back to you. Again, not to get all woo-woo, but I'm a firm believer in just being more abundant, spending more money, not on stupid things, but just on ways that will, flow more money back to you. And that's it, man. So I've wanted to make this video. Maybe I'll make a part 2 eventually, but as always, if you've made it this far, I want to see you in. Comment below with questions or any thoughts you have on this mindset stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.